So we are live. It is Monday night, and we're going to talk a little pro wrestling here on Popcast Network. My name is Owen. I'm your moderator for this evening. Joining me, as always, is the true voice of professional wrestling here on the Popcast Network, and that is Ashley. Which, of course, he is plugging in his headphones so he can hear everyone tonight. What?
This sums up Raw tonight.
Well,
welcome everybody to Monday Night Random.
I have no words.
Well, you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen
tonight,
anything.
Tonight, so I try and pull this off. Random is the most. We saw. You know how they're saying, it's the new era?
Yeah.
We saw every single era of WWE wrestling from the past 30-ish years in 3 hours of Raw.
What?
Yeah. Further proof showing you that Raw does not know what the fuck it is.
An identity crisis, it sounds like.
It's trying to work out what appeals to what fans. Which is a very questionable thing to do when it's your first show coming back from football.
Okay.
Because, of course, last week was the championship game in the NCAA. But this week, there is no competition. So, in theory, the Raw should now be strong all the way through till probably maybe NBA finals and the NHL finals. But that's not like March. That's March, April time. So Vince shows up in his limo to start off. We'll get to the important wrestling stuff later. Vince wasn't happy with the driver, got him to remove a smudge off the car, which I never saw. So here comes Braun and says Brock's always been afraid of him. And, Lesnar was always looking over his shoulder when he was Money in the Bank, interfered in his title shot, and then had Baron and Corbin attack him before their previous match. He's all healed up now. And Corbin's no longer in the picture. He's going to win the title at Chase Fields, and Lesnar's going to get these hands. And here comes Corbin, which Strowman interrupts by saying, gets the fans with a "you got fired" chant and says, I'll take as long as I want to say what I want to say. And hell, if I take 5 minutes, that'll be longer than you lasted against Brock. Everybody knows that you couldn't beat him. So what I'm going to do is win the Rumble and go on to do what you won't do. Braun, and that's main event WrestleMania. So Strowman chased him into the backstage area. He found the Singh brothers who were like, he went that way. So Neil got tossed onto a table where a load of people were eating. Then saw McMahon's limo down the ramp or whatever. Stormed off. Elias was playing a tune, saying he knows where Corbin is, and then, of course, Braun suddenly shows up like right next to him because it's like, you know where he is, and he says, "Oh no, he's hiding in the limo." Went towards the limo, kicked the side mirror off, threw the driver out. The rear door was locked, so he went into a box, grabbed a pipe, smashed a window, and ripped the door off the limo. Strowman ran away, turned around to go after him, and Vince McMahon's there. who's pissed. And then they go to commercial. When they come back from commercial, Strowman's trying to put the car door back on. And Vince says, "You're an animal, you're a human wrecking ball, you're a danger zone. I'm fining you $100,000. And Braun rightfully says, "This piece of crap limo wasn't worth that much." And apparently, because of that, McMahon's like, "Oh, you want to raise your voice? Right. Your match with Lesnar at the Rumble was off." Vince leaves. And so what's Braun's response, Owen?
Go ahead.
He flipped the limo.
Of course he did. Is Braun still legitimately hurt?
According to Papa Dave, that's what they were going to be saying, but they never mentioned it. Apparently, Braun was never supposed to face Brock at the Rumble in the first place. Even as far back as Survivor Series and TLC. Huh? Strowman got escorted from the building, so he won't be seen for the rest of tonight. So we had Ronda and Sasha beating Nia Jax and Tamina in an okay match, but at the same time, it was like, well, Tamina was in the match. So I didn't give a shit. And then Ronda was looking forward to facing Sasha, and beating her would be right up there with her greatest accomplishments. And of course, Sasha was like, "Wait, I'm an accomplishment?" And then Ronda goes, "Look, I didn't mean it like that, but I'm going to make you tap out." And of course, Sasha goes, "Hey, I was the one that made Nia submit last week. I was the one that made Tamina tap out." And then, of course, Ronda went, "Well, you know, Sasha, you can just keep the title of being the world's classiest loser." And, you know, they were getting into a hissy fit and not happy with each other. And Ronda was sort of trying to make up. And it's just like, whatever. So now outside Mr. McMahon's office, for something, I guess, they didn't really explain anything when they showed them. The announcers went, "Oh, do they all want Brock?" So there was Slater and Rhino, Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, Apollo Crews, Kurt Hawkins. Dasha was there with her microphone. Then Jerry Lawler came out the office. You see what I mean by random, Owen?
Just a tad.
And then No Way Jose went by in his conga line.
Why does he still have a job?
Never seen again. So Sasha and Ronda are still rowing. Natalya and Bayley are trying to calm them down. Then they were arguing with each other. Here comes the Riot Squad. And they go, "Oh, well, we make a bad situation worse. So how about we challenge you to a 6-woman tag? Assuming you can find a partner." So next, the Revival beating Lucha House Party. Revival did a promo before saying you pay for doing nothing last week when you just stood by and watched when you saw that we weren't eliminated. We didn't lose that match because our foot was under the rope. The clever thing that happened here Basically, Dawson gave Metallic a DDT. Metallic got his foot on the rope, but Dash Wilder pushed it off, so the referee counted 3. So then Dash is there with a microphone in McMahon's face as he comes out of his office, and he's just like, "Why are you holding that up?" And it's like, well, way to fucking emasculate your fucking person that you're telling them to fucking do that. What the fuck? So he's going to make his announcement in the ring, apparently. But before he can say anything, here comes Cena. And he says, we all know why you're out there and want to save you the time. I remember a long time ago when everyone left you. Austin left, Rock left, Lesnar left to go and do football. He looked at a roster of rejects and misfits and wanted somebody to step up. I've got in your face back then and stepped up. I've missed birthdays, I've missed weddings, and I've missed funerals, but I'm not complaining because I love what I did. I want another chance because unlike everyone else, he has ruthless aggression. Era number 2 here. So then here comes Drew and says, Cena, your time is up. My time is now. And just like Austin, Rock, and Brock, you can leave. And then here comes Corbin. And then here comes Balor, saying that he's the only one that's been Universal Champ. And then McMahon was going, maybe you will be a champ again one day, but... And this is a quote from bloody Vince. There's a lot of beef out here. I don't know what that means. He said Balor's a great competitor, but he's not convinced that he's got, the beef to do it. Who's the old granny that shouted, "Where's the beef?" Do you know her name, Owen? Or not?
What name was it again?
Where's the beef woman?
Yeah, Clara Peller.
Yeah. Perhaps she should get in bed with Vince McMahon.
She was at WrestleMania that year.
No, but I'm saying, considering Vince is saying there's a lot of beef out here,
Who's in chat? Nobody.
So they got in a fight, and Vince is like, I like it. I'm rubbing my cock with glee. Yeah. So McMahon's going to be setting up a main event of a Fatal 4-Way with the winner facing Brock at the Rumble in 2 weeks. Anybody in chat?
Nope, not yet.
So afterwards, Jinder approaches Vince backstage in cobbler-fitted suit and said he would have come to the ring to make his case to be in in the match as well, but he was busy tending to Sunil Singh, who was ravaged by Braun, and said, we were robbed of Jinder versus Brock last year at Survivor Series, in 2017.
I think we just did us a favor, though.
And Vince said, okay, pick one of the guys that's in that Fatal 4-Way, and you'll have a match against them. And if you win, you'll take their place. The great thing is, that's what he meant. Vince actually said, if you win, you'll take their place at the Royal Rumble. And I'm like, what? Vince, you smoking that herb? Yes. So now it's time for the Riot Squad versus Bayley, Natalya, and Nikki Cross.
Interesting.
The really interesting thing is what comes next. As Cole goes, the incoming NXT wrestlers will be competing on Raw and SmackDown in the coming weeks before officially signing to either brand. Oh, there's somebody that we actually saw backstage being interviewed by Dasher earlier, and that was EC3. Keep this in mind, everybody. We've seen EC3. We've seen Nikki.
Congrats. They pick the ones that actually matter in the call-ups.
Wait for it. This is Monday Night Random.
Oh God, that means that someone else is going to be on this too.
So, amazingly, Nikki actually didn't get the win. She hit her elevated swinging net breaker on Liv, tagged in Bailey, who did the macho elbow drop. Or was it Dusty elbow drop? Or is it both?
Top rope would be Savage.
I guess it was a macho then. Balor's walking backstage and just so happens to walk by Mickie James, Dana Brooke, and Lacey Evans.
Oh God, why?
Again, NXT wrestlers are appearing on both shows for a number of weeks before they actually show up on whichever brand that they get signed to. Keep this in mind, everybody. Dean then does a mobile phone promo about the fact he's keeping the title. Balor beats Jinder. Jinder tried to... He basically attacked Balor before the start and wanted the match started with Balor down, but Balor eventually wanted the match to start, and of course he had the upper hand, but Balor won with the sling blade dropkick coup de grace combo.
Good, at least they put the right person over.
Then Lio Rush did a phone promo with Lashley showing up eventually. Lashley is the champion that we need because he's a fighter and will become champ whether anybody likes it or not. Rollins also then cut a promo right before the match, saying that Roman had the courage to tell the world about his battle with leukemia. And he and Dean embraced him, saying that he didn't have to fight it alone. Ambrose betrayed that and destroyed 6 years of friendship. So Monday Night Random, Bobby Lashley is your new IC champion.
Why?
I honestly think because Vince thought that reaction that the crowd had to the Dean versus Seth match was worthy of them being removed from the picture altogether.
I'm okay with that, but can we have Lashley be a transitional champion and put the belt on someone else that deserves it?
Guess who tweeted a picture with the IC title when Lashley won?
I saw it. It was Kevin Owens.
And if you've seen the pictures of him this week, he's lost a lot of weight.
We're probably about the same size right now.
Buff Kevin Owens. It's something different. I want to know where it goes. I hope it isn't mediocrity. So now we've got a stagehand with Alexa's coffee knocking on her locker room door. I've got your latte. No answer. He goes in and then goes, "Oh my God." Camera pans. Alexa's covering her tits with a half-worn t-shirt. So now it's the Attitude Era. What? Then Alexa said that the women's tag team championships will be decided with 3 teams from Raw. Apologies, Owen.
It's okay.
And 3 teams from SmackDown inside the Elimination Chamber in 5-6 weeks. I don't know if you can get a still of the title belts, Owen. Just for you to give your thoughts on them.
I can do that. Give me a second. I'm sure
They do look like knockoff Impact Wrestling GFW belts. But at least they're not the stupid pennies or the dimes like the men's tag belts are. So there is something different about them.
Well, I'm gonna look into it. There we are. That was easy. Tag title. I'm sorry, but here's the thing. Oh my God, they are Impact title belts.
So
I'm sorry, but I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to get a lot of heat for this, and I really don't care. We don't need women's tag belts.
Bliss's guest was obviously Heyman.
Right.
And ran over Lesnar's potential opponents. Yeah. Suplex City would be built on the card because of hostile loyalty and respect. Put over Drew and said that he would be Universal Champ one day. And started talking about Corbin when randomly out on stage, like some sort of bloody pervert, comes Otis Dozovich. And he's making all his fucking faces. It looks like he's fucking a midget from the angles that they've got of him behind the table with the tag belts on. Bliss sort of recovers it, going, "This is a moment of Bliss, not a moment of Otis." And he's like, "Yeah,
hell."
Tucker Knight grabbed him, apologized to Alexa. Otis is like, "I like pretty women." It's like, and Heyman and Bliss are just looking at each other like, "What the fuck was that?" The bell rings and apparently the 4-way starts, except they literally did that and then went straight to commercial. So timing was completely off. But yeah, they've already fucking ruined Heavy Machinery. Just by making... Who hosted To Catch a Predator?
Chris Hansen?
Yes. I think Otis Dovovich is going to be on the new episode of Chris Hansen's To Catch a Predator.
Oh, Lord.
So, you know, that's how you debut Heavy Machinery. By making one look like a sex pest.
That's brilliantly bad. People hear that. I hear this, and people wonder why I have given up for the most part on WWE.
Yeah, but you notice anything, Owen?
I'm making the right decision by staying away.
No. EC3.
Well, yeah.
Nikki Cross.
Right.
Lacey Evans.
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Heavy Machinery.
They didn't need to be brought up.
And who's number 5, Owen?
Oh, yeah, Lars Sullivan.
Nowhere to be seen. Again.
Well, last time I checked, apparently we also heard something about he had an anxiety attack, and that's the reason they kept him off television.
Yeah, but there's some people saying that he no-showed both shows.
Yeah, something tells me that there's a possibility that before this month, okay, two things are going to happen at this point. Either A, he's going to show up out of the blue, or B, at this point, I honestly think he might just get future endeavored.
Because I'm confused. If it's anxiety, why the fuck was he not shit scared when he was at NXT Takeover? Because arguably that would have had a bigger crowd than tonight's Raw or tomorrow's SmackDown.
Accurate.
Or anything. And then to culminate Monday Night Random, Brock Lesnar's facing Finn Balor.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then afterwards, Cena basically goes, Vince may not believe in you, but the people do. And you've got one more person that believes in you. Make sure you give him Brock hell at the Rumble. So, yeah. Cena, maybe on his own volition, who knows, personally put Balor over to try and say to Vince, give this fucker a chance.
I want to see Balor win at the Rumble, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And that's Monday Night Random.
Yeah, it's an understatement.
In terms of what went down on main event, well, I guess the thing we better mention, because it's tomorrow, SmackDown and 205 Live are going to be on the same day again. 205 Live is moving back to Tuesdays at 10. Although, we don't know whether that's going to be partially taped or partially pre-recorded. So, Noah Jose and Zack Ryder beat Tyler Breeze and Kurt Hawkins on main event.
What the heck?
And Alicia Fox and Mickie James beat Ember Moon and Dana Brooke. Oh, Dana Brooke's face again. She's actually flip-flop more than fucking Big Show. What the fuck? What the actual fuck? Is there anybody in chat, Owen?
I might access. I don't have any access to chat right now. Give me a second. Let me look.
Because I need to get my sounds.
I was working on another thing. No, Jeremy said hi a little bit ago. That was about it. So we move on from WWE to another WWE brand. You want to talk about NXT first? Or you want to talk about NXT UK Takeover?
Always need to be prepared with the sounds, and half the time I never am. God damn it. Because I guess we do need to talk a little bit further about WWE, do we not?
I know their streaming service changed.
Well, yes, yeah, we could mention that as a side thing, which leaves me even more suspicious as to who's really in charge. Because, of course, they're leaving Disney.
It's random.
And they're switching to Endeavor, the company behind the UFC. It's looking more and more like UFC and WWE are combining in some shape or form.
That's interesting. Means Dana White's a bigger hypocrite than I am.
Uh-oh. Wow, I managed to sit on the bloody audio jack, so that's fucking brilliant. Hopefully it didn't break it. You there, Owen?
I'm here.
It was good. I was making sure it wasn't broken. No, the big thing we need to talk about, because we never got a chance to, what with BAFTAs and all, and what with Critics' Choice and all, was NXT UK Takeover Blackpool. What the fuck is that name for? So, stuff happened on the pre-show, apparently. Basically, that Travis Banks got attacked by Devlin. So, they started off with the NXT UK Tag Title Tournament Finals. And considering it's the grizzled young vets of Drake and Gibson and Mustache Mountain, you shouldn't be surprised in the fact that these guys had probably one of the best matches of the night. The chemistry they had was brilliant. Worth noting as well that Mustache Mountain had red and black tights in tribute to the British Bulldogs.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
And then the big thing out of this, Grizzled Young Vets win with Ticket to Mayhem on Trent 7. I don't have that much complaint. Either one of these teams should have won. You know, it felt like a progress match, in all honesty. So, next we get Devlin versus Banks. So, Banks immediately attacks Devlin before the bell, but then, of course, Devlin attacks back, smacking at his knee. Sid Scala shows up again, the assistant GM. And Johnny Saint came out, talked with Sid, and apparently they've got a backup plan because they were afraid that Jordan might try something like this. And the backup plan is Finn Balor, which, of course, the fans marked out for. The only issue being the problem is the comparisons, because obviously Finn trained Devlin. They're both Irish. They're very similar in stature. They're very similar in style.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how wise it was by doing that, maybe. But after 3 attempts, on the 4th, Finn hit coup de grace. Coup de grace. To beat Devlin. I'm guessing it doesn't hurt Devlin. Mainly because of interesting stuff that happened on the TV tapings, which we'll get to. Next, Luke Menzies, who was a rugby player for the last 10 years or so, was shown in the crowd. He got signed back in May last year and has been part of NXT, but not NXT UK yet. So, so the no DQ match, Dave Mastiff beat Eddie Dennis in a pretty, I mean, it wasn't too extreme. But I didn't think there was much of shit. Although the best bit actually came when Eddie Dennis went and grabbed a table. So, you know that track from like the 90s, the Euro pop track from To Unlimited, No Limit?
Vaguely, yes.
So, of course, Blackpool goes, tables, 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 tables. More chance for the Americans to steal there. But yeah, Mastiff hit a release German and a rolling cannonball through said table to get the win. But both guys are pretty good. Then Kaylee Ray's in the crowd, as is the alpha female, Jazzy Gabert. So hopefully that means she's in. I'm hoping. Or maybe this is more of the Germany stuff. I'm just seeing notes here. Jerry Lawler signed a new deal with WWE and will be commentating the Men's Royal Rumble. So I guess that's why he was there, maybe. So the women's title, very much strong style, which you'd expect with basically Australia versus Australia in Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley. The big thing, Storm Zero, Nikki Storm wins. Which in essence, I guess, means that Rhea Ripley was interim champion. They didn't put Toni Storm over Rhea when they actually crowned the first champion because of Mae Young Classic. But because she won the Mae Young Classic, she cashed it in. So a little strange, I will say. But I'm pleased for her. After the last few weeks that she's had, some fair stuff to happen to her. Speaking of fair, Charlotte Flair's in the crowd. And then Pete Dunne and Joe Coffey. This went over because by the time I was trying to watch the Nigel McGuinness documentary by just getting in from out of shopping, NXT was still going. It did go like 34 minutes or so. And it did sort of... You could have cut a few minutes off here and there, but it sort of needed to be at least a 25-plus minute thing for a main event sort of thing. The big thing, at least at the start, was Coffey came out with Gallus, but they left him, basically trying to say that, you know, you can do it on your own, kid, sort of thing. Spoilers, he didn't. Dunn actually wins with an armbar with the bending of the fingers submission. So not the bitter end for a change. He's showing it. He's got submission handiness going on. And Pete Dunne is celebrating. I think that means he's like... I don't even know what the record is on that now. 603 days. Which is probably up there with like, I'm trying to think, what was Hulk Hogan's reign? Well, that was about 3 years, wasn't it? Trying to think of the nearest comparison. Anyway. So, this shows you that it's a Triple H production. The logo comes up. And then I'm going, oh, yes. Yes, son. Yes, son. Fucking yes, son. And here the fuck is Volta. Although, I'd like to say that the UK fans are stupid because they kept calling him Walter. It's the W is pronounced as a V, you prats. I am ashamed. Although, if you look at where he was standing, thanks, I like Jason. It actually looked like he was actually called Water.
I saw that.
In front of the L. I guess Water's better than Big Ass. In all honesty. So they stared each other down. Coffee tried to get in the ring with both of them. Volta just fucking kicked him in the head and kicked him out the ring. He did the ring camp pose. Dunn did his pose with the title in his teeth. And then Volta left and made his departure. And it was motherfucking glorious. Oh. All in all, considering that there wasn't that much going into it, in all honesty, a pretty good show. This then followed up with tapings. Luke Menzies beat Flash Morgan Webster in a dark match. Apparently he was green as goose shit, even though he won. Then there was more Volta stuff. Him and Pete Dunne taking care of Gallus. Nina Samuels beat Lana Austin. Kenny Williams and Amir Jordan beat Tyson Tebow and Saxon Huxley. Eddie Dennis beat Jamie Ahmed. And then the Travis Banks Jordan Devlin match actually happened, except it went to a double count out because they brawled to the outside and could barely be split apart. So they're building stuff there. Dave Mastiff beat the Primate, James Melrose. So I'm guessing Defiant Wrestling must still be somewhat in the loop with WWE to some extent, considering Primate and Lana Austin are on the show. The Grizzled Young Vets came out and then Sid Scala showed up and said that NXT UK will be taping TV in Phoenix, Arizona at Royal Rumble Access. And they'll be facing Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch in a NXT versus NXT UK match. I don't have too much complaints about that. That should be a good match with those four guys, wouldn't you say, Owen?
I would think so.
Then Volta beat Jack Stars. So Stars was like hitting him and hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. And then he slapped the shit out of him out of the ring that hard. It's brilliant. He's like supposed to be the menacing heel because he's not British. Crowd were just cheering the fuck out for him. Ginny beat Casey Owens. And then Mustache Mountain beat the European Union of Fabian Eichner and Marcel Bartel. I guess we couldn't call them Ring Camp for obvious reasons. Ligero beat Mark Andrews. Said to be a very good babyface match. Zia Brookside beat Candy Floss, with Rhea Ripley destroying both of them. Tony Storm trying to make the save, but accidentally headbutted Zia Brookside. And then Rhea gave Storm a pump handle slam and left her on the floor. Joseph Connors beat the Wild Boar, Mike Hitcham. Joe Coffey beat Ashton Smith. And then Volta beat Mark Coffey in stiff as hell stuff. So tapings look promising. Although how it be presented, who the fuck knows? I don't know. What should we cover next?
Move on to... Well, we can get MMA out of the way.
Well, that's the thing. There really ain't that much. ESPN apparently has put up a few of the previous highlights of last year, including the Khabib versus Conor McGregor fight on their service to obviously build up the hype to the launch. Actually, come to think of it, it's this weekend. I'm getting confused with the pay-per-views. The very first UFC on ESPN event is coming this weekend. Cahudo versus Dillashaw from Brooklyn at the Barclays. Looks a promising card. The 13 matches that are on there. On the early prelims on ESPN Plus, we got 2 welterweight bouts with Belal Muhammad and Jeff Neal, and Chance Raconture versus Carl Stewart. And then in the lightweights, Dennis Bermudez versus Tay Edwards. Then on the ESPN prelim card, so the one that probably more people will be able to see, Mario Batista and Corey Sandhagen in the bantamweights, Alonso Menifeld versus Vinicius Maria in the light heavyweights, Joanne Calderwood's taking on Ariana Lipsky in the women's flyweights, and then the Cowboy Don Cerrone taking on Alexander Hernandez in the lightweights to main event the prelims. And then the main event, or the main card, I should say. In the light heavyweights, we've got Glover Teixeira versus Carl Robertson. In the women's flyweight division, Paige Van Zant's taking on Rachel Ostovich. Joseph Benavidez versus Dustin Ortiz in the flyweights. Then the lightweight division, we got Greg Gillespie taking on Yancy Medeiros. Greg Hardy's facing Alan Croder in the co-main heavyweight match. Then the main event for the flyweight title, Henry Cejudo versus TJ Dillashaw. So it's got a promising card. Again, though, it is pretty controversial, like we covered the last time, in which we've got Rachel Ostovich, who has only just come back from recovering from being assaulted in a hometown of Honolulu by her husband. With the trial probably going on actually this month, supposedly the next part of the hearing at least, because apparently a 9-minute video taken by a witness has the husband repeatedly saying, "I'm going to murder you. I'm going to fucking murder you." This woman who's been through that is on the same card as Greg Hardy, former defensive end for Dallas Cowboys and the Carolina Panthers, and who most recently, at least in 2014, arrested and found guilty of assault and communicating threats after allegedly having assaulted an ex-girlfriend by grabbing her, throwing her into furniture, strangling her, and threatening to kill her. And that person is on the same card as a surviving victim of domestic violence. Do you see the double standards here, Owen?
Yeah.
But apparently they don't give a shit.
No, why would they?
Yeah. Or after all the issue with John Jones, oh, that actually came through. The drug test for John Jones after UFC were all negative. So when they show up positive again, it's going to be really confusing. I think that's all the MMA because Bellator is not till Rumble weekend.
Got anything about New Japan?
Well, at the minute, the major stuff that's going on is the Fantastica Mania shows. So nothing too big going on them because obviously most of it is a combination of CMWL and New Japan. Tag teams either combining or going at each other. All sorts of stuff. It wasn't the only thing worth standing out, at least in terms of the first show, was the debut of Atlantis Jr., who is the son of Atlantis. No surprise there. It is worth noting that Okamura and Sanson, who won the match, grabbed the masks off both father and son afterwards. But from what the reports have said from the people that did manage to catch it live and whatever, Atlantis Jr. did look like he could hang. Which, of course, is always the issue of having second and first generation stars in the same match sort of thing. Especially in their debut, you know, can they deliver? And from what it sounds like, he's pretty good. We'll see what you have to build into. In terms of what they've got coming up this week, we've got Fantastica Mania shows coming up Wednesday, which I don't know whether that's being streamed live. The one I do know is being streamed live are the Friday, Sunday, and Monday Kurikan Hall shows, because they being Kurikan Hall. It's less shows than they've done previously for Fantastica Mania, but it frees up probably a lot more, at least on the schedule. I'm trying to see which of the 3 Kurikan Hall shows is going to be having the crazy shit. Oh, they're doing a Black Hat Memorial match apparently on night 1 of the Kurikan Hall triple header. There's a family tag tournament apparently. Whoever wins that will face Gran and Ultimo Guerrero in a special tag match with the brothers tag tournament winners and the family tag tournament winners. I don't know. That seems confusing as fuck. So yeah, the co-main is the My Dad is a Heel Wrestler special tag match as Ginbei Mask and Gokibori Mask take on Sweet Gorilla, Mariyama, and Dragon George. I don't know which one's supposed to be Tanahashi. I believe Dragon George is supposed to be Okada, but there's no pictures here, so I can't officially confirm it. I should probably look at the news. It will probably be on there. Well, there have been other shows, but they haven't been noted. I guess because they weren't filmed. But they don't normally have major title changes, at least on those things. Have we got... Is that it? Have we got pictures of them? Yeah, I'm guessing Dragon George is Okada. It's hard to tell because there's no written description on who's who. So that's happening. It's a bit of a quiet time for New Japan. Obviously, that it won't get sort of big until we get to probably a couple of weeks' time when the Kurikan Hall Road to New Beginning shows. head our way. And we actually get closer to the New Beginning in America shows, because I think that's 2 weeks Wednesday, isn't it?
What do you mean 2 weeks from Wednesday?
New Japan in America.
Oh God, it would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, the California show at the Globe on Wednesday, North Carolina on the Friday, and then Tennessee on the Saturday. All around the same time as the 2 days in Sapporo for the New Japan guys that are staying in Japan. So it's all going down. In terms of Impact's debut on the Pursuit channel on Twitch, I love the fact they said, if you've got the internet and you've got Twitch, you can watch Impact. Sorry, Impact Wrestling. Your stream was region blocked, so I couldn't watch it. So that's good. I don't really want to pay £5 a month because I'm already paying that much for Amazon and whatever. Please. I've only got so much of a budget. The big thing that went down because apparently, they're on the Pursuit channel and nobody can watch it. Scarlett Bordeaux is going to strip. Then the Indians come out and say, you cannot strip. Nobody wants to see you strip. And then the other two of the actual two wrestlers of the Desi Hit Squad went to whatever his name is, Gamma Singh, is it?
Yeah.
They went to him, no, you want to see her naked, don't you? He's like, shut up. And then here comes Scott Steiner to beat the shit out of the Indians and then get a supposed lap dance from Scarlett, which was basically her flashing him in her underwear, then doing a sort of striptease thing, then just taking off the entire dressing gown. So she's literally there in just suspenders and lingerie. Walks around Scott Steiner, waves to the crowd, gets out the ring, goes up the ramp and leaves. Not for 1 second there did I see a lap dance. This is where I'd be asking for a refund. I never paid for it, so yeah. You plonkers. I guess the big stuff that we could mention, at least in terms of Impact, because they did some tapings in Mexico. The only big thing that went down is the Lucha Brothers beat LAX to win the Impact Tag titles. And they all hugged afterwards, and the baby faces celebrated with Lucha Bros. So it was all sort of a nice respect thing. Apparently, with some of the matches, the Mexicans didn't know who any of the people were. Also, interestingly, Psycho Clown, who you'd have thought would be good because, we're in Mexico, wasn't really that much liked by the Mexican fans. So I'm sort of wondering whether they've turned on him because of how much in the main event he's getting pushed all the time. Because I think it's the last 2 or 3 Triple Manias that he's been in the main event. And it's sort of all gone to relatively nothing. So I don't know what happened there. Then I guess we can talk about the Ring of Honor stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much one of the last things we have.
Well, we've got the indie wrestling stuff to cover. We've got some results, I believe. And stuff coming up this weekend. But yeah, Ring of Honor. So they started off with TV tapings from Center Stage. For the Honor Club, the Briscoes beat Chucky T and Colt Cabana because apparently Beretta had a family emergency. Tracy Williams beat David Finlay. Bandido beat Mark Haskins. Silas Young beat Eli Isom to get a TV title shot somewhere down the line. Villain Enterprises beat Corey Hollis, John Skyler, and somebody else. Kelly Klein beat Raquel Vaughn to retain the Women of Honor title. PJ Black came out to no reaction at all as he lost to Nick Aldis, so Aldis retains the NWA World title. Except now out comes Juice Robinson and says that he's going to be appearing a lot this year and has formed a stable with Tennille Dashwood, Mark Haskins, Dave Finlay, Bandido, and Tracy Williams. And they are called Lifeblood, and they are going to be bringing honor back to ROH. Just a bit weird, but there you go. Then in the six-way, Shane Taylor beat Luchasaurus, Rhett Titus, Chris Sabin, Kenny King, and Flip Gordon. It looks as if Sabin got injured, tweaking his knee in this match. That's a trend. Beer City Bruiser and Brian Malonis beat Marcus Cross and Griff Garrison. Then Lifeblood confronted Jay Lethal, setting up a 10-man tag coming up later on. Well, 10-person tag. No, 10-man tag, sorry. Later on. Cheeseburger, Eli Isom, and Ryan Nova beat Slim J, Marcus Cross, and Griff Garrison. Madison Rain beat Sumi Sakai and Jenny Rose in a triple threat. And then Lifeblood won the 10-man, beating Gresham, Flip, Dalton Castle, Jeff Cobb, and Jay Lethal, with Haskins making Dalton Castle submit. But all 10 shook hands afterwards, and Lethal got on the mic and said, "Everybody that you're seeing here tonight is not going anywhere." Do you think he was trying to say something, Owen? Do you think?
I would say it was not a bad idea at this point.
And then Sunday, we had Honor Reign Supreme being live streamed on the Honor Club and everything. So 3S, as they're called, of Cheeseburger, Ryan Nova and Eli Isom beat John Skyler, Corey Horace, and Josie Quinn. Yeah, apparently the 3S is the Shinobi Shadow Squad. That's what they're called. Mark Haskins, bit the Beer City Bruiser. Juice Robinson and Dave Finlay beat the Best Friends. With Juice giving his hat and sunglasses to a young fan in the front row, which was rather weird. Colt and Ian also then announced that Ring of Honor is going to be working with vet ticks this year. So if you're a military veteran, you'll be able to get free tickets for Ring of Honor shows. Whether that includes Madison Square Garden, maybe. Tracy Williams beat Flip Gordon via referee stoppage. By the looks of this, Gordon managed to tweak his knee, very similar to Sabin. Although this was after a springboard drop kick, but it was, from what I've seen from the pictures and the video that has come out of it, it's a very sort of innocuous injury. It doesn't look that sort of bad, so hopefully it's not too serious. The Kingdom, then the Proving Ground match, beat Luchasaurus, Delirious, and Hurricane Helms, which was a weird-ass combination, but there you go. It says a lot. The report from this simply says, this was mostly bad. So I guess this didn't work. Bandido beat PJ Black. Bandido was massively over. PJ Black wasn't. Jeff Cobb beat Rhett Titus and Jonathan Gresham. Shane Taylor was supposed to be in this match, but apparently He said he's too good for the match, so he became a triple threat instead. And then they were sort of like, Silas Young came out, Shane Taylor came in and ambushed Cobb, and so I guess we're getting a triple threat, some sort of picture, maybe for the anniversary show in February. Kelly Klein beat Jenny Rose in the Women of Honor World Title Street Fight match. Villain Enterprises beat the Briscoes and Silas Young. And then Jay Lethal beat Dalton Castle with the heavyweight title. Although I still don't know what's going on with that. I guess we'll have to see. Trevor Lee has officially signed with WWE. He announced at the CWF Mid-Atlantic show this past weekend. Basically, the deal is, as long as he's CWF Mid-Atlantic champion, he's still showing up. So that leaves it a little intriguing as to what's going on. Of course, this was all on Twitch and everything, so you could have seen it yourself. But yeah. So he's going to drop the title somewhere down the line. I'm not sure to who, but it's obviously going to be happening. Just seeing if there's any other notes before I get to sort of the big load of stuff with the indies. Frank Mir. I guess we've got some sort of MMA stuff. Frank Mir is going to be debuting at Josh Barnett's Bloodsport over WrestleMania weekend. We don't know against who yet and whatever, but I'm intrigued to see who they put him up against. I doubt it'd be Nick Gage. I'm guessing you saw this story as well. The WWE UK Performance Centre getting opened in North London. 2 rings, I believe. Sort of a scaled down setup of what they have at Full Sail, basically. But enough to actually show that it's a developing thing. Triple H has hinted that they're going to be wanting to go to Europe and Asia for a lot more. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, yeah, WWE also added a Worlds Collide tournament that's happening over Royal Rumble Access, which is going to be apparently a single elimination tournament, but it's going to have 15 wrestlers, so I don't know what's happening. So for 205 Live, we have Alexander, Nice, Gulak, TJP, and the wrestler to be confirmed. For NXT UK, we've got Andrews, Bate, Banks, Devlin, and Gibson. And then for NXT, we've got Cole, Velveteen Dream, Dominic Dijakovic, Keith Lee, and Otis Dozovic. Although Otis may get thrown out because Chris Hansen has put him in behind bars because to catch a predator. I would not be surprised if that happened at some point. And also a tease for tomorrow's 205 Live. Buddy Murphy is issuing an open challenge for the belt. Actually, I don't think it's not for the belt. It's just for having a match with him because obviously he's having a 4-way at the Rumble anyway. So who do you think it could be, Owen?
Either way.
NXT UK, maybe? I'm trying to work out. Who would be a good fit for 205 Live? I guess Mandrews is the only one I can think of. Or maybe, there's one that I should be thinking of. Unless they just put Trevor Lee on that quickly. We know it isn't Kushida. At least that much for sure. So, in terms of stuff this weekend, with CW from Mid-Atlantic, apparently, I didn't get anything for that. Can't remember what other shows that I missed as well. Because I'm forgetful like that. I heard the girl. There were quite a few UK shows, though. I guess it is worth mentioning some of them. So, Rev Pro from Friday. No title changes from what I can see. But probably some good matches on here. Zoe Lucas retaining the British Women's Championship match against you. Greta Khan beating MK McKinnon. Josh Bodum and Show Samuels beating Curtis Chapman and Dan McGee. Will Ospreay beat Chris Brooks. I don't know if that was another open weight belt or not. I don't think it was. It was just the champ, Ospreay facing him. David Starr beat Kip Sabian to retain the British Cruiserweight title. Jay White beat Chris Ridgway. They're putting him over in the UK as well, Owen. Aussie Open beat the Hunter Brothers to become number one contenders to the tag titles, currently held by Suzuki Goon. And then Zack Sabre Jr. retained the British Heavyweight title, beating Shigehiro Iri. Then we'll go to, because I don't think we mentioned this last week, we've actually got the results of Fight Club Pro's Project Tokyo show from Kurikan Hall from last Monday. The Moonlight Express of Mike Bailey and Mao beat the Hunter Brothers in a non-title match. Then a Sendai Girls tag team title match. Beauty Bear of Shihiro Hashimoto and Mika Iwata beat Dash Hisako and Millie McKenzie. Strong BJ of Daisuke Sakamoto and Yuji Okabayashi beat Aussie Open. Somewhat of an upset there. The Strong Hearts beat the Strong Hearts. In this capacity, it was Saiki Yoshioka and T-Hawk beating Chima and El Lindemann. Miko Satomura and Akira Tozawa successfully beat CCK of Kid Lycos and Chris Brooks. And then Death House 3. Sadly, Yun Kasai couldn't compete due to an injury. So Masashi Takeda got involved instead. Either way, it was won by Jimmy Havoc, the other participants being Drew Parker and Ricky Shane Page. Apparently, it went really well for them. I'm not sure what they're doing, at least in terms of the next Japan show, but they have got another show, I think, coming up. If I have a look at my events, I think it's in a week from now. I think it's WrestleMania week, not Royal Rumble weekend that their next show is. Oh, no, I take it back. It's Friday, February the 1st. It's about 3 weeks away. PCW, well, I guess I should clarify. That's Preston City Wrestling. They had Jack Bandicoot. That's a great name. Beating James Finn. Yeston Reese over Callum Corey. Sheikh El Sham beat Matthew Brooks. James Mason beat Dave Birch. Tel Bannum retained the Cruiserweight title over Philip and Michael. Big T Justice beat Arcadian and Bruce Wheeler in a 2-on-1 handicap. And Jerry Hayes beat Danny Hope by DQ. DQ indeed. And then Pro Wrestling Eve from Saturday. And the Battle Bowl qualifiers. Charlie Morgan and Aaron Angel beat Zoe Lucas and Braven Creve. Charlie Evans and Millie McKenzie beat Laura Di Matteo and you. Heidi Katrina and Session Moth beat Chardonnay and Lana Austin. Jetta and Sami Zayn beat Little Miss Roxy and Ashley Vega. And Baines and Nightshade beat Misha Easton and El Macarena. The Battle Ball Battle Royale was won itself by Charlie Evans. And with that, she's able to pick any match of her choice at any place of her choice. And she said she wanted her and Millie to become the first ever Eve Tag Champs at Wrestle Queendom 2. She then went to blast all the talk about the changing landscape of wrestling industry and lack of talk about those that are truly independent, that are changing the world, such as her and Millie, and challenged All Elite Wrestling's Britt Baker to come to Pro Wrestling Eve. Is that a collaboration there, Owen? Or are they just
that way?
Or are they going to beat the shit out of them? I think that's everything, at least in terms of results that at least I can find. In terms of stuff coming up this weekend, Friday, we have Destiny Wrestling up in Sarnia, Ontario, I believe it is. Let me just double check my notes for upcoming shows this week. Yes, Sarnia, Ontario. We've also got PCW Ultra, that's Pacific Championship Wrestling, over in California. Bleh, wrong one. So that's going down. Trying to quickly get details about the next one because we've actually got. I completely forgot that this is around this time this year. Pete, the first tournament of the year, I guess. Owen, PWX's X16, which has been pretty crazy over the last few years or so. Apparently, PWX is partnering up with High Spots for their next few set of shows. So everybody's streaming combined, apparently. There's also a Queens of Combat show being part of it as well, which I didn't even have in my notes. Taking place this Saturday, so I better put that in my events list so I can keep track of it. So the first round stuff for the X16, we've got Darius Lockhart versus Jason Cade, Billy Brash taking on Eddie Edwards, John Schuyler versus Alexander James, Yaya versus the Real Slim J, Serpentico versus Andrew Everett, Sean Carr taking on Ethan Case, Drew Adler facing Tracer X, Saeed El Sabah taking on the Harlem Globetrotter Bravado. And then also the Revolt defending the tag belts against the Ugly Ducklings. In terms of Queens of Combat, doesn't look like they've got an event listed, but Penelope Ford is going to be challenging Diamante for the Queens of Combat title, by the looks of it. Thunder Kitty is going to be part of the show. Clara Sinclair will also be active. Harlow O'Hara. Dynamite Dee making her Queens of Combat debut. Kimberly versus Kristen Statlander. That could be an interesting one. Tasha Steeles, fresh from her WWE tryout, apparently. Among quite a few of the people happening. Also, Tara Calloway as well. So we got all that. Destiny are also going to be at the Battle Arts Academy on Sunday up in Canada. That is in Mississauga, Ontario. In actual Canada. I got that one right. And then I'm trying to work out what the reference here is, Owen. I don't know whether you know what it is. And of course, when we talk references, of course, I'm meaning the next Progress show. you want to know what it's called, Owen?
I can take a stab at it, I guess.
I doubt it because it's completely fucking random.
Hmm.
Remove child before ironing. Normally there's references for this. I don't know what the reference is for that at all. What we do know is Aussie Open will be taking on Do Not Resuscitate. In, I guess, possibly a number one contenders match. I guess we'll have to see. Jody Fleisch versus Angelico. That might be a nice, interesting match. Seeing what other stuff has been added for the cards. Ooh, they're doing some WXW shows in London in January. That's interesting. Chris Ridgway versus Shigehiro Iri. Also happening this weekend. Sword of Essex defending the tag belts against CCK, who rightfully pointed out in a promo have not won the titles. I don't know what's happening with the Atlas title because it's Trent Seven and because of WWE contracts. So I guess we'll have to see. Of course, it'll be interesting for Progress because this will be the start of the new we can't show WWE talents era, I guess. Also, Jordan Grace apparently has been defending her belt all around the world, and she's actually defending the belt against the House of Glory Women's Champion in a title versus title match that they just announced this past weekend for House of Glory in Jamaica, New York, in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. So quite a way to go for that. I believe that's all we've got going down of note this weekend. So I think with that, we can make our way to the close and all that. Owen,
Yes.
you can wrap it up.
Here we go.
We're done.
All right, so let's go.
Sorry, chat, if you weren't there.
Nope, no, we're good. So that's your show tonight. Once again, tomorrow is the big one, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to predict our final Academy Awards. All of the categories will be predicted tomorrow night. Or tonight.
It's going to be 120 predictions or so, isn't it?
Likely.
Because it's like 22 times 5 and then 3 for the makeup and hair. And anywhere between like 6 and 10 for the best picture. Well, I mean, we're predicting 9, I guess, but there you go.
I gotta check my one last time to see if I'm set with what I have. So,
to be honest, I'm saying this now just because it will get drowned out by everything that we have to predict tomorrow. After having seen Vice, I'm trying to work out why BAFTA or anybody really went crazy for it. Because there's a lot of things wrong with it. There's a lot right as well, which is the problem. But I guess I might be able to discuss that with AJ over the next bit. I guess I've got to film my best of as well, considering AJ submitted his in. Hopefully that'll get round to you by the end of the week and get to your lovely eyes and ears, everybody watching, listening, and all that.
Correct. I'll have it in the next couple of days, most likely. So, where can we find you on social media?
I am on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
And you can follow the network if you'd like.
sort of breaking news because I wasn't looking at Twitter. Flip Gordon is injured, so will not be part of Hand of Doom for the next show. Oh wow, sorry. Why wasn't that in my notes? PWG is this weekend. I bet we better talk about this, hadn't we, Owen?
Yeah.
So yeah, due to Flip being injured, Bandido's now facing the returning ACH. I don't think we complain about that, can we?
No.
So alongside of that, Jungle Boy making his PWG debut to take on Brody King. Puma King takes on DJ Z. Jonathan Gresham also makes his PWG debut to take on Robbie Eagles. LAX face Flamita and Ray Horus. The Best Friends face the Rascals for the Rascals PWG World Tag Titles. And Trevor Lee faces Jeff Cobb for the PWG World Title. I think we can guess who isn't winning that.
Yep.
That's a bit of a... I only just noticed it in my Twitter messages and notifications, that news there. So that happened, I guess. So I just wanted to quickly mention that. Just because I'm surprised it isn't in my notes for indie shows happening this weekend. I don't know what happened there. Perhaps it's not indie enough now. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, find me on Twitter where I'm finding out about PWG stuff at Ash is my name UK.
You can follow me on Twitter at Suro and Disney, and if you so choose, like I said, tomorrow 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, AJ, Ashley, and myself predict the Academy Awards one last time before the actual nominations, of course. And later this week, we have AJ's movie reviews, we have verses, we have top 10s coming up very soon. Who knows, maybe a sip and snack or two. Luckily, we got this week off of award shows.
Yeah, for a change.
But next week, nope. So that's going to be your show. And as always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you've chosen a Popcast. Thank everyone for watching. Thanks everyone for listening. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Corey's face reaction to Otis Dozovich may have saved that. Well, sorry, no. With Alexa Thingy. Shit.